There's only one minor league champion.
Atlanta Fire, star-studded Atlanta Fire, one of the favorites.
Man, indeed, but that one is smack.
Oh, this one is clubbed into the onside, a slow short ball.
There's only one minor league champion.
Fire, star-studded Atlanta Fire, one of the favorites.
Man, and deep, and that one is smack.
Oh, this one is lobbed into the onside, a slow, short ball.
There's only one minor league champion.
Atlanta Fire, star-studded Atlanta Fire, one of the favorites.
Man, and deep, and that one is smack.
Oh, this one is lobbed into the onside, a slow, short ball.
A very good morning and welcome to the Houston Open 2026. It is semifinals and finals day here as we are ready to take you through semifinal number one. It's the Prime Raider Gladiators taking on the Clarion Eagles. It's going to be a big matchup. Two very heavy sides and absolutely everything to play for in this game. The winner goes through to the final. It's to be played this afternoon. Looking like another beautiful day here at Prairie View Cricket Complex, and again that nice breeze continuing throughout today. This is Manali Patel. I'm joined alongside Brian Walters. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Manali. Semifinals and finals day, as you mentioned. This is a heavyweight clash. Heavyweight clash because it is the winner or the leading team from Group A, the Prime Raider Gladiators, 3 wins, 1 loss, versus the second team in Group B, Clarion Eagles, also 3 wins and 1 loss, and very frankly, the team that I thought would have taken things the entire way in this tournament without losing a game. They did lose, and so they finished second in that group. Toss won by the Prime Raider Gladiators and Captain Sidesh Patari choosing to bowl first. Not surprising. Typically, teams that bowl first here in the Prairie View area with a little bit of dew around tend to do better. Of course, with the finals being this afternoon, that's on the line. And so you might also look at it from the standpoint that the bowlers will want to restrict the batting side to a total that their batters can then go and chase. High pressure, all to play for.
It's going to be the same surface as well as yesterday. High scoring pitch. We saw 2 games, one of them ending up in over 200 and the other one getting pretty close to 200. So we know there are runs on the surface. Smith Patel with the gloves. He has had an outstanding Houston Open 2026. I'll try and get you a look at the points table along with our leading run scorers and our leading wicket takers very soon as well. Pranav Chetapaliyam along with Ahmed to get things started with the bat. Imran Khan's going to get things started with the ball.
Mukhtar Ahmed, the leading run scorer for the side of the Clarion Eagles. 117 runs in the tournament. Pranav Chetapaliyam is number 4 on that list, but they start very, very well at the top. Imran Khan, left arm, Arthur make that left arm outswing to the lefty. And look for that ball leaving Pranav Chetapaliyam. It is going to be an interesting passage of play to start.
Starts well. And as I ask you at the beginning of every game, Brian, predictions for this game.
I predict that the Clarion Eagles, batting first, will get through the power play with around 40 runs. They will explode towards the back end. They should be somewhere around 165. And having got to 165, the Prime Raiders, I believe, will just fall short. I think the margin of victory will be something around 15 or so runs. And you've asked me, so now I will ask you, as that single goes into the offside off the mark, is Pranav Chetapaliyam. Your thoughts, Miss 224.
I'm looking at the 2 sides, and I know there are runs in both of these sides. Mm-hmm. But when I look at the consistency with the bat and the consistency with the ball, mm-hmm. I would have to still say, as this is well bowled and a dot ball to start for Mukhtar Ahmed, I'm going to have to say PRG probably has the better chance in my books. And again, I'm going based on the amount of form that their batters are coming with. Mm-hmm. Smith Patel's been outstanding. Milind Kumar as well. Sujit Gowda, we've seen runs from him as well. And they're able to balance it out with some decent bowling. Adil Bhatti has been great with the ball. This has been called a wide. Batter completely agrees that that's going to be a wide. As Smith Patel's arms seem to be stuck above his head.
Mukhtar Ahmed being the batter as well as the umpire. Rice smile there from Imran Khan. I'm pretty sure he knew that it was also wide.
It's a tough call though, isn't it? You look at both of these sides and you see, okay, well, the opposition, fairly comfortably down wide, taking absolutely nothing. You look at the batting of Clarion Eagles and you've seen first shot of authority as this races away for 4 runs. Likes of Mukhtar Ahmed, Sanjay Krishnamurti. Sanjay Krishnamurti, I believe, is out for today's game, though. He is out with an injury. Likes of Shubham Ranjane, Mohammed Mohsin. We've got runs in Harmeet Singh as well. So two very strong sides going head to head here. I'm just going to side with PRG, but can't say I'm convinced.
The argument with two very loaded sides that brings for me PRG back into the fold and potentially could have them winning this game is the loss of Sanjay Krishnamurthy. He is a tremendous batter. I think he's proven that over the course of the last several years. National team middle order player, aggressive right-handed batter, and more than useful left arm orthodox. So he will be a big miss.
Played with soft hands and a single to round off the first over. It's 8 for none.
So it'll be Milind Kumar, off spinner. Bowling to the left-handed Pranav Chattopadhyay. Start over number 2. Milind Kumar has done really well with the ball. And generally is very difficult to get away during the power play overs. And not surprising also that you've brought him in to bowl to the left-handed Pranav Chattopadhyay, and that ball leaving the left-hander. And again, as we've seen all week, the wind is not as strong today as it was yesterday, but still coming in from the south, which would mean that if Pranav Chattopadhyay gets the ball in the air, it'll be an issue. The ball will be essentially hit into the air in that direction or from this direction, and that will make it difficult to clear the ropes. Couple of deliveries already on the way here. Just one ball. I'll make that one run from the over so far. Now, the interesting thing for me is going to be Milind Kumar, bless you, against the right-handed Mukhtar Ahmed. Different scenario there. The ball turning into the right-hander. And so Mukhtar Ahmed, who loves to go big, even hitting into the wind, he can clear the ropes at mid-wicket. So Milind Kumar will have to be very careful with his line and with his length.
Starts nice and slow. And I've got to say, I really do like seeing spinners not afraid to take the pace off, not afraid to toss it up. Doing pretty well in the Cricket World Cup League 2 stats tables, Milind Kumar. Top 5 with both bat and ball at the moment. Aerial goes through the offside, and that's going to go all the way for 6 runs. Massive hit. Pranav Chattopadhyay not afraid to open up those shoulders and take on the offside.
Well, look where this ball ends up. For me, Milind Kumar gets this one just a touch too wide. Your advantage as a right-handed off spinner is relatively straightforward if the ball is on 4th stump. But if it's wide like that one was, then Pranav Chetapalli can open those shoulders and go big in that direction. And he does play that shot very well. Milind Kumar will want that ball to be just a little straighter.
It's going to beat the fielder and run away for 4 more. Started as a very good over, ends up a little expensive. Milind Kumar goes for 12 in his first over. 2 overs gone. It's 20 for none. Just placed very well. Good timing and in the gap. Power play overs, fielding restrictions. They want to try and maximize this. We saw that in the first game yesterday. Put the pressure on early. Down the ground this time, and this is going to find the boundary. It's going to go for a maximum.
The important thing for me is how long is the ball going to swing? Because if it doesn't swing much, and that one didn't swing as much as it did in the first over, then Imran Khan is not as dangerous. And this is a clean strike by Mukhtar Ahmed. This is going to be the type of delivery that he wants to see. And again, without as much swing, is a lot less dangerous. Imran Khan, I mentioned a little bit of dew around, and that dew will have the effect of making the sheen disappear off of the ball. It does not swing as much when that happens, and then you can essentially attack much more easily, as Mukhtar Ahmed did just now.
Doesn't quite beat the fielder. But both of those fielders inside the ring on the offside, trying to just open the face of the bat and guide it to the boundary.
It is a reality that both of these players can hit big, but the fact is that they also have the ability to just, as you said, guide the ball into the gaps. So it doesn't all have to be about big hitting. And when it's not all about big hitting, then you're much more dangerous as a batter. Big hitters, you can stay away from their strengths, but you can also score off of the good balls.
Throws his hands at this one again, and it is going to go nowhere. Couple runs. Thought with the wind, it was going to end up over the rope. Just didn't get the timing on this.
Well, I may have to stand corrected. That was a slower delivery from Imran Khan. But earlier I said that they'd get through the power play with 40 overs. They're looking like they want to just go much more than that. And even though these are two good opening bowlers, this opening pair looks like they've negotiated the conditions just perfectly well. They're looking really dangerous so far with 29 runs gone so far. 1 ball remaining inside over number 3 in the power play.
Seen some great cricket over the course of this week, haven't we? Some phenomenal batting, some really good bowling, and some outstanding fielding. Likes of Stephen Taylor pop to mind. When it comes to some of the catches that we've seen, 3 overs gone, it's 29 for none. Great standard of cricket as we get to see America's finest talent here at the Houston Open.
Great cricket indeed. You mentioned a couple of those names. Smith Patel leading the top of the table, 285 runs. Unmukhchand with an excellent time with the Baltimore Royals, 221 runs. Sai Mukamala, excellent batter for the Atlanta Fire, has 192 runs. And then for the wickets, Emilio Alfonso, Atlanta Fire, Aaron Nadkarni, and Ali Sheikh are the top three in that category. And so you'll see a lot of high-powered attacks. You'll see a lot of big hitting. And here in the back end, the business end of the innings of the tournament, rather, Clarion Eagles taking on Prime Raider Gladiators. Behind us, it is the Atlanta Fire in action in the second semifinal. And all to play for the big final later on this evening, or this afternoon, 2:30 local time. We will see who that team will be, who comes out of this game to face the winner of the other final, or the semifinal. Adil Bhatti into the attack to bowl the fourth over. Milind Kumar's first over, more expensive than Sidesh Batara, the captain, would like, so they've rested him after one over. Going to the veteran Adil Bhatti.
Not the tallest of pace bowlers, Adil Bhatti. But can generate some really good pace. And he's got some really good variations. And we had this conversation about how West Indian bowlers back in the day, it was all about the tall pace attack. Changing a lot of that to your spin bowling now. But oftentimes it's a lot of the shorter pace bowlers are skiddy off the surface. They rush you, you're not expecting it to skid on.
We had that conversation, and I also asked you at the time, the best of all the fast bowlers from the West Indies, all of 5'9". You were not able to come up with that name. Do you remember that name?
We're going back to Malcolm Marshall, are we?
The best of them all. May God rest his soul.
Swing and a miss.
Adil Bhatti, who started out his career and long-time player, played for the U.S. for a long time. Started out his career as an attacking middle-order bat and still is able to bat very well, but in recent years is now more known as a bowler than as a batter. I don't mean to take anything away from him with the bat, but his bowling has come along leaps and bounds such that he's now bowling inside the power play overs. Excellent bowler.
Skied. It's high up in the air. There is a fielder getting under it. This is going to take some catching. And unfortunately, that's a catch gone down. I'm going to try and see if we can get another look at this. Had his hands been higher above his eyes, I think he would have pouched this catch just too low.
You don't want to put anybody down, and certainly not Mukhtar Ahmed. You want to make inroads into this attack or into this lineup, and you cannot afford to be dropping catches. Skied Mukhtar Ahmed not getting that one anywhere in the middle of the bat, and you will really want to have taken that catch.
Right there, just hands so far below the eye line. You want to catch in front of your eyes. That's definitely a chance gone down. But a great over so far from Adil Bhatti. Just the 2 runs coming off of it, a potential wicket as well. I want to try and finish this over strong. They've done well here at the Prime Raider Gladiators, just keeping on top of that run rate during these power play overs. Wide, short, and it's going to run away. It's going to go all the way for 6.
But to say it did more than run away. The first thing that it hit was the fence that is about 5 yards beyond the ropes at deep cover. So that is a tremendous strike by Mukhtar Ahmed to finish over number 4. That is They're off to the races. Look at this again. Look where this ball lands. Skied in the air, but hit really up the middle of the bat and bang off of the fence. That is a tremendous strike. Mukhtar Ahmed, as I said earlier, plays shots all around the ground, and he absolutely takes advantage of that wide offering from Adil Bati.
4 of us gone, 37 for none. More pace as Stephen Wigg comes into the attack with the ball. It's just so hard on bowlers, isn't it? You bowl 5 really good deliveries, and then the last one goes for 6. And
one of those 5 should have taken a wicket.
And that would have changed that momentum.
Completely. The wicket of the man who then hit the next ball for 6, by the way. So dropped catch is a huge part of the game. Stephen Wigg into the attack.
Starts well.
Really, really like Stephen Wigg as a bowler. Shocker. I love left arm fast bowlers. But for me, his accuracy is one thing. He, over the last couple of years, has not necessarily bulked up, but I think gotten a lot stronger. And he's always able to get the type of pace generated that would rush batters. Now, the line and length will be really important here for Stephen Wigg.
Off the hips and just short of Milan Kumar. I just feel the energy out in the middle with 2 very strong sides. Both of these sides wanting to find that spot in the finals for this afternoon. It's the sort of cricket that you want to see, isn't it? The competition element. And the amazing thing is MLC is just around the corner. Before that, a lot of these players are going to go to Nepal for the Cricket World Cup League 2 as Stephen Wigg just strays down leg. And so many of these players trying to make it into that 15, the top squad. I think this is where the US does so well. It's their top players consistently playing against each other in tournaments like this. Keeping it wide of that swinging arc.
The point that you make is very important. All the talent in the world is not worth much if you're not able to consistently test yourself against other talented players. And to the extent that a lot of these players, let's say you might have a huge cricket league, and some of the premier players in that league play within the local leagues, but you're not testing yourself against the best unless you're able to play in tournaments like this to consistently work on improving that game.
Bit straighter this time. Still going to find the fielder. I think he was home pretty safely in the end. I say this often as well, you're only going to be as good as your competition. And so if you're
100%.
not consistently playing against better players, you are not challenging yourself enough to keep up at the top level.
100%. Now, Stephen Wigg has rushed Pranav Chattopadhyay on at least a couple of the deliveries in this last over. Mukhtar Ahmed does not like to be rushed. Mukhtar Ahmed wants to dictate terms. So I'm looking for him to attack Stephen Wigg here. Watch the man at long on. He might be in play. There's also fielder at deep square leg. A huge gap between long on and square leg that Mukhtar Ahmed will be facing or eyeing.
Pulled away, and again protection in the deep. Now he's bowled 1 wide. That's going to be the extra delivery. And how often do we see that extra delivery from a wide or no ball go for runs? got to try and find his mark. Or stay with the mark, because he has been really accurate so far. Quick single. Pat wasn't grounded. I'm not sure how this close might have been, but a very good over to start for Stephen Wigg. 4 runs coming off of it. 5 overs gone. It's 41 for none. He would have been gone. It would have been gone by quite a distance as well.
I mentioned that Stephen Wigg rushed Pranav Chattopadhyay a number of times in that over, including on that last ball. First of all, he almost popped up a catch to Milind Kumar. And then Milind Kumar, who can typically hit from that direction, from inside the circle, generally has a very good throwing arm, a very accurate throwing arm. Had that been hit, as I mentioned, as you mentioned, that certainly would have been gone. So I am officially out of the game. I said power play, 40 runs. You're at 41 with 1 ball. We'll make that 1 over remaining in the power play. So they started out a little bit better than I thought they would have, the Clarion Eagles. And the platform is set for them to accelerate from here.
I think those are Harmeet Singh's 2 kids right in front of the comm box here. And daughter clearly says, I'm the batter between this. I'm not giving the bat. I don't know if I could pan a camera to them.
I always get nervous when I see kids walking around at a cricket field unattended.
Oh, I agree. It can be very dangerous. They're completely unaware of the cricket beside them. In the gap, and make that 4 runs to start the over. Adil Bhatti, a bit too short, a bit too wide.
Yeah, short, wide 4. Bowling over the wicket to the left-hander, just a little bit too wide for me. And that is something that you can get a good batter to cash in on. Just a little bit of width. And he's been a little late on a few shots in the last over 7 balls or so, Pranav Chattopadhyay. But he cashes in here for a free boundary.
He's leaned into this very nicely, Pranav Chattopadhyay. Absolutely glorious as this goes for 6 runs. The elegance and poise on the shot is exquisite.
Poise indeed. Mid-off inside the circle, so it's not quite as risky a shot. But really, even if mid-off had been back on the ropes at long off, that still is going to sail over his head. So the last delivery, or at least the first delivery in the over, was too short and wide. This one too full, and both dealt with expertly by Pranav Chattopadhyay.
Into the leg side. And it should just be the single this time.
50 up, by the way, with that 6. So they're off to a fast start, Clarion Eagles. 52 without loss halfway through the last over of the power play. And things setting up really well for them. Current run rate of 9.45 and over projects to a score of 189. Earlier I said 160 is where you'd probably end up. But they are setting the table for something much, much bigger than that here.
Oh, tees off. Absolutely bludgeoned this one.
Oh my goodness. That is 6 number 5. They've actually had more 6s. More 6s in this power play than they've had 4s. And both of these batters are exceptionally brilliant. Obviously, the 50-run partnership between them, and essentially they've looked like they've set themselves up for something much bigger than a 58-run partnership. Neither of them looks to be very bothered at the moment.
No control. This is straight up in the air and an easy catch. What an expensive over this is turning out to be. And now Adilbati's got the breakthrough. Broken the opening partnership, and that's going to be the first wicket.
It is actually very well bowled. It's a slower delivery. Took all the pace off. Mukhtar Ahmed wants to hit big, wants to have pace on the ball, and Adil Bati taking the pace off. Mukhtar Ahmed playing well too early, and that straightforward catch taken at mid-off. I believe that was Milind Kumar with the catch. 17 runs from the over. It's a very expensive one, but you do have the wicket of Mukhtar Ahmed that breaks the opening partnership. Pranav Chetapalliam still there, 28 from 19. He will now be joined by his captain, Akarshit Gomel. So each opening batter putting on 28 runs, at least when the partnership was broken. As here on the replay, pretty straightforward catch. That's not going to trouble many top-level fielders. Not a lot of wind today as compared to yesterday. So that was always going to be a very straightforward catch.
5.5 overs gone. It's 58 for 1.
So the captain, Akarshit Gomel, taking his place at the crease. It is the last ball of the power play. After the power play, you can afford to be a lot more defensive in your field settings. I would suspect that the primary, the Gladiators, will want to move as many as of their fielders outside the circle as is allowed, which is 5. But have to get through the power play here. First ball to the captain. So Adil Bati closes well. The last 2 balls of the power play, or at least of his second over, a dot, which was a wicket, and then another dot. So it closes well. Still an expensive over, but he will like the fact that he got the wicket. End of the power play, 58 for 1. Houston Open 2026 is what you're watching. If you're joining us online, welcome. Good morning from right here in the Prairie View, Texas area. Prairie View Cricket Complex, field number 5, hosting semifinal number 1, Clarion Eagles against the primary, the Gladiators. Incidentally, the second of the 2 semifinals being played concurrently on field number 6. The Space City Cowboys and the Atlanta Fire are locking horns there. Space City Cowboys, 2 balls make that 1 ball remaining in over number 3 are 22 for 1. Back to this game. Stephen Wigg bowled a really good first over, I thought, and is now into his second over. Starting out with a single. By the way, we've lost Monali Patel for the time being. So for those of you who are following along online, if you would like to contribute to this conversation, more than happy to take your comments, and also more than happy to interact with you in such a way that I do not need to be speaking just by myself. This is a good start by the Clarion Eagles, despite the fact that that opening partnership has been broken. Clarion Eagles, 59 runs on the board, scoring at the rate of 9.57. 9.57 and over will win you several cricket games. A projected score based on that run rate is 191. Quick single. That's good running. Good understanding between these two. Both of them, I think, are very high-level players. Pranav Chetapalliam, a much younger man. Akarshit Gomel, more experienced. Akarshit Gomel, and I may have said this the other day, maybe, if not the best player in the U.S., meaning the best batter on the outside looking in other words, somebody who has not yet represented the U.S., he is part of a very small group that fits that profile. Good delivery from Stephen Wigg. Pranav Chetipalli hopping up onto his toes to defend. And so you're looking at how you're going to construct an innings from here. Akarshik Gomel 1 from 2, Pranav Chetipalli 28 from 21. Opening partnership has been broken. But to the extent that you want to keep pushing on, you're out of the power play, so you're in what is commonly referred to as the consolidation phase. In the consolidation phase, you'll want to essentially pick up the ones and twos when they present themselves. You want to punish the bad balls if need be, but you also don't want to take very many risks because the field is spread up to 5 fielders outside the circle, and then that puts you in the position where you sort of set the table for the launch later on. So over 7 through 14, you typically see the scoring rate drop just a little bit. Then going through 15 through 17, a little bit more of an acceleration, and then hit the ground running to try to, in track terms, run through the tape over the 18 through 20. Generally, that's the way that these innings are constructed. Skied. This is going to be catchable. No, landing short of the fielder running in from the deep at mid-wicket. So not the most convincing of shots played here by the captain, Akarshik Gomel, but every once in a while you'll have an injudicious stroke. If you get away with it, then that essentially sets you up to be able to push on from there. So this is another really good over on the way by Stephen Wigg. 2 overs so far and just 7 runs conceded. Make that 8 after that single to close over number 7. Really good stuff from the left-arm pacer. 5 runs coming from the over. End of over number 7, 63 for 1. Clarion Eagles asked to bat first. Mukhtar Ahmed, the leading batter in the side, 117 runs coming into today's action, has been dismissed. A quick fire 28, but he has been dismissed. Akarshik Gomel, the captain, number 3 batter, is the second leading scorer in the side, 109 runs so far in the tournament. Pranav Chetipalli, the non-striker. In fact, he will be on strike to start here over number 8. He is the number 4 batter in the side. So from that standpoint, a very stacked batting lineup, and you have the firepower to be dangerous. Milind Kumar it is, who's back in for his second over. Bowled 1 over inside the power play, was a little bit more expensive than he would have liked to have been. Milind Kumar, that first over went for 12, and he's looking to see how he can come back. A little bit easier for him here bowling out of the power play, so more protection in the deep. There is a deep point, long on and long off, a mid-wicket, and then a square leg. Those are the 5 outside the circle. And you expect that Pranav Chetipalli at the non-striker's end will want to take charge. And what I mean by that is that he has 21, make that 31 from 24 balls. So he has essentially gotten settled. Akarshik Gomel just coming to the crease, 2 from 5. Up and over. How far has this gone? It's going to land short of the man. Stephen Wigg coming in off the ropes at long off. So once again, a bit of a risky shot. Not really hitting it cleanly, but he gets away with it. So a couple of singles so far in Milind Kumar's second over. This is a lot better than the first over that he bowled. And in fact, that first over started with 2 runs from the first 3 balls, but ended with a 6 and a 4. This so far is looking a lot better. So the overall scoring rate is starting to trend in the opposite direction from where the Clarion Eagles would have been happy with. As I mentioned, you can expect during this part of the innings that the over rate or the run rate drops. This is a lovely reverse sweep by Pranav Chetipalli. Premeditated shot, yes, but that's essentially exactly how you play that shot. Third inside the circle, and that is easily put away. Nobody in the deep in that direction. So that's 4. And then you have another single, make that another delivery coming here. What I started saying is that you expect for the power or the run rate to fall outside of the power play. But essentially, you don't want to either go completely into a shell or have it fall so far that you'll want to have pressure looking to increase it later in the innings. Single closes things out. Over number 7 is finished. Make that over number 8 is finished. 70 for 1 after 8. Seventy runs on the board. Score of 8.7, or scoring rate 8.75 and over, projects to a score of 175. It is going to be Vedant Patak into the attack. In the air. Is it catchable? It is catchable, and cleanest of catches taken in the deep. That is a big wicket because that is a set batter, Pranav Chetipalli. A straightforward catch taken by Adil Bhatti down at long on, and the second wicket falls. The first ball bowled by Vedant Patak results in the fall of the second wicket. And this is good stuff if you are Prime Raider Gladiator. This is a straightforward catch. Pranav Chetipalli and getting that ball nowhere near in the middle of the bat. So he'll be disappointed with that effort. Take a look at this replay again. Not really hit cleanly. And a straightforward catch. Adil Bhatti will never drop that. And that is maybe not quite a body blow, but you certainly put yourself in a position where you have to reset. You have to get started all over again. And this is going to be very tricky because once you have the situation where those wickets start falling, then it becomes difficult to maintain a run rate that, as of right now, is down to 8.57. So the new batter coming to the crease is going to be Saif Badar. Saif Badar is a really good young player. I say young. Saif Badar is probably 26 years old or so, somewhere around there. But he's also a tremendous, tremendous player. Saw him mentally preparing himself for this innings here earlier in the game, or at least before the game started. He was in the middle of the pitch, shadow batting, if you will. And it's no longer about shadow batting. It's about being in the middle and making sure that you are able to cash in on whatever offerings are presented to you. He can hit big. He's an excellent player. I suspect that he'll want to start with a little bit more circumspection here. Immediately off the mark, punching it into the leg side. Don't think they'll look for a run, for a second run there, but he's off the mark. Saif Badar. So good start with the ball for Vedant Patak. Certainly striking immediately with the first ball that he's bowled in this innings. And that will certainly buoy his spirits. And looking to see how you can start to make further inroads into this Clarion Eagles lineup. They bat very deep, the Clarion Eagles. We will go through their lineup here in just a minute. Let's cut away. Good looking shot. And it goes all the way for 4. Just a little bit too much width there from Vedant Patak. And the captain, Akarshik Gomel, cashes in, just absolutely drilling that one backward of point for boundary number 5 on the day, to go with 5 sixes for the Clarion Eagles. Yeah, just looking back at that ball, just a touch too wide. You can't be that wide. You don't want to be anywhere around fifth stump or wider. And certainly you don't want to be short and wide. No protection in the deep in that area. The sweeper on the offside is very square. Take a look at that replay again. To me, that's just a little too wide. The sweeper coming in from your left right now is not going to be in the position to do anything with those, but retrieve them from the rope. That last ball you just saw, I think, is more consistent with what you'd want from your change bowler, Vedant Patak. Going into the last two balls of over number 9, you're starting to get the sense that the bowling side has done enough to pull things back just a little bit, but you're needing to eliminate the loose deliveries. And anytime you create an environment where loose deliveries are being bowled, that certainly works to your disadvantage. That one zips through at pace. Good delivery from Vedant Patak. Saif Badar just being very watchful. 1 from 2. And he will want to put himself and his team in a position where he's able to bat as long as possible. Now, having said that, this team, the Prime Raider Gladiators, make that the Clarion Eagles, bat very, very deep. Saif Badar is at the wicket along with his captain Akashit Gomel. You still have Shubham Ranjane to come. You still have Mohamed Mohsin to come. Still have Harmeet Singh to come. So plenty of batting resources that are available to you. And one ball, in fact, that's the end of over number 9. You're down to the last 11 overs of the innings, which means that you do have a lot of time to get settled and then launch from here. 77 runs on the board after 9 overs. $77 for 2 after 9, and it is the captain himself, Sudesh Patari, who is bringing himself on to bowl here in over number 10. Sudesh Patari is a wily bowler, very canny, nowhere near high pace. He's a medium pacer, genuine medium pacer, but what he does well is change speeds. He is very canny with how he's able to outfox the batters, especially to a new batter. I'm expecting for him to change speeds a number of times here to Saif Badar. Good effort. You want to see that from your captain. And you might just say all it did was just save 1 run. But when the captain is throwing himself around like that and making sure that those easy singles are not provided to the opposition, that has the effect of buoying the spirits of the others in the field. Couple of dots to start over number 10. This is good stuff from the captain. Did not bowl in the earlier match that we saw him play in this, at least on this field, earlier in the tournament, but he's certainly bringing himself on here. Very full, and this one is driven into the covers for a single. So Saif Badar being very watchful. Oh my goodness, they come back for a second run. That really should not have been a second run, and the reaction from Smith Patel there in the middle of your screen tells you everything you need to know. That ball's played into the outfield, and for all money, I thought that was just going to be 1 run. But you've gotten in the position now where it's going to be a little bit more tricky because you don't want to give away free runs. Looking to cut this one away, Saif Badar. The quicker delivery from Sudesh Patari, as I mentioned, he does really well changing speeds. And so Saif Badar actually late on that last shot, looking to cut that one and not getting anything on it. Now, I have to point this out. It has gotten very cloudy and very dark in the last several minutes. I'll talk more about that after this ball. punched into the leg side for a single. The reason I point that out is that there is tremendous amount of rain scheduled, or at least forecast, for this area tomorrow. So today's schedule, or the tournament schedule, should have been 2 games today, the 2 semifinals, and then the final tomorrow. The change was made to have both the semis and the final today, as this is played in the air. Catchable, no, landing short of Stephen Wigg at deep. Extra cover. And that's just a single to close over number 10. 4 runs coming from the over, 81 for 2 after 10. Just to finish that thought on the weather, you're expecting a lot of rain tonight and tomorrow. So that made the organizers move the final to this afternoon. However, the weather right now, very cloudy and overcast. And the concern certainly would be, did that rain arrive early? We'll keep an eye on that as we get through the next several minutes. End of the 10th over, 81 for 2. Over number 11, Vedant Patak coming in for his second over. Short, skied, who wants it? Oh, it is put down, and this is a huge miss. Imran Khan running around from backward square leg, but this is very catchable. Akarshit Gomel is the batter, and this is one that Imran Khan will want to have taken. You don't get very many chances to put down a batter with the pedigree of Akarshit Gomel. And looking at this again, boy, you did the hard part. You got there. It's just a matter of securing the catch, and my goodness, you cannot have dropped that one. Good delivery. And they'll take a single. So it is almost the case that in the 2 overs that Vedant Patak bowled, he took a wicket with each of the first ball in those 2 overs. But this has to be taken. It has to be taken because, as you see that look again, maybe that didn't quite judge it properly because his hands were well out in front of his body. And maybe he just didn't quite get the judgment right. But regardless, that ball hits you in both your palms. You really do need to take that. Up and over the covers, and it is a sweeper on the boundary who cleans up. So 3 consecutive singles to start over number 11. This really, really, again, hate to keep sort of harping on this, but that has to be taken. And to the extent that when you put the captain down and when you put down one of the best batters in the side, they have the opportunity to keep batting, that really is to your disadvantage, and you absolutely have to take those catches. So Karshik Gomel now 11 from 10. Saf Badar just getting started, 6 from 9. Full toss, low full toss, clipped into the deep for a single. So it is 4 singles to start this over. And you put yourself in a pretty tricky position here because you absolutely have put down the captain. The partnership just now getting started. It is worth 15. And when you have that happen, when you put down a player of the pedigree of an Akarshit Gomel, that certainly has a negative impact on the side. He goes big, and that's why you don't put down Akarshit Gomel, because he can do that. Off the back foot, no less. His weight was going back, and he absolutely drills this one. I'll tell you that that is dangerous, and this is how essentially negative it is that you've not been able to take that catch. Look at that shot off of the back foot, powering it straight down the ground, and it essentially has put you in a really difficult position here. Goes big again. How far has this gone? It is, oh, taken. He almost dropped it. That fielder long off. Make that long on. He's covering his face. That's Sujit Gowda. Covering his face in mock embarrassment because he initially dropped it, but then secured it before it hit the turf. And that, for me, is evidence why the coaches tell you to take the catch as high as you can. If you drop it first, you give yourself a second chance to secure it. And take a look at this again. We'll see the replay, because this, for me, is a very fortuitous occurrence for Sujit Gowda. Take a look at this. Tries to catch there, drops it, but then secures it on the rebound. That is excellent. Once again, it is pure evidence why the coaches say take that catch high. To whatever extent you can, you take it as high as you can, because if you drop it, it then gives you the chance to secure it before it hits the ground. So that is wicket number 3. Turns out that the happiest person on the field right now is probably Imran Khan, because the drop earlier in the over does not cost anything. Vedant Patak into the attack, and he has taken 2 wickets, 2 big wickets. The 3rd wicket down, 91 for 3 after 11. So an interesting passage of play, as it is the imposing figure of Shubham Ranjani, who is now into, or at least he's now at the crease. He'll be at the non-striker's end as over number 12 starts. You saw Shubham Ranjani star for the U.S. in the World Cup, most recently completed World Cup earlier this year. And he is, if he is not the best all-rounder in the country, for me, he's in the top 2 or 3. Obviously a major league player in addition to his World Cup prowess. And immediately off the mark here, Shubham Ranjani, the 3rd leading batter in the side. Numbers 1 and 2 have already been dismissed. Mukhtar Ahmed dismissed earlier for 28, and then you just saw Karshit Gomel fall, courtesy of a really high-level catch. Short, pulled away into the deep, but one bounds. Adil Bhatti is right there to retrieve that one. So this is good cricket. Captain Sudesh Patar is really going through the paces here and getting the ball in the areas that he can to not be punished. You will accept any day, all day, just singles off of Siddhesh Patari. Because when you do that in this part of the innings, the consolidation phase, especially after having lost a few wickets, you expect that the batters will want to reconsolidate. And the best way to be able to prevent them from hurting you in this consolidation phase is to bowl exactly the way that Siddhesh Patari is bowling now. Saif Badar winds up, wanted that to be a big hit, but it's only a single down the ground. So once again, you're getting through this portion of the innings, conceding singles that absolutely works to your advantage. Shubham Ranjani 2 from 2, Saif Badar 10 from 13. Good running, well played. So 6 singles from the over. You will accept that all day, every day. End of over number 12. Score is 97 for 3. 97 for 3 after 12. Bidan Patak has bowled very well. Absolutely brilliantly. 2 overs in the books. First over, he took a wicket with his first ball in that first over and only conceded 7 runs. And then his second over conceded a few more, 10, but also took a wicket and had a catch put down. So he is getting the ball. In fact, my apologies. It's going to be Imran Khan who comes back into the attack. So Vedant Patak bowled very well, but Imran Khan coming back in to bowl over number 13. This is his third over. 2 overs, none for 17 are his figures so far. Very full. At this stage of the innings, when the ball does not swing as much, the ball is now, of course, 12 overs and 1 ball old. Imran Khan loses the ability to swing the ball, but what he does well is bowl full and straight, like you just saw that delivery to Shubham Ranjani. Quick single. That is good cricket. Really good cricket. Just dropping runs. So the last 8 deliveries in this match have conceded 8 singles. And so the big hits have gone away for the time being, but 99 runs on the board, 2 deliveries into over number 13. That puts you in a relatively decent position. And it is now being highlighted, as we touched on a few minutes ago, that weather may be coming in a little bit more quickly than we thought. Once again, the reason why we have put the semis and the final on the same day is to try to stay away from that inclement weather. But it appears, Monali Patel, that it is coming in here a lot quicker than we would like.
Yes, Brian. I'm so sorry I had to run out like that, but it does look like those ominous clouds are coming in pretty quickly. I want to try and get through the semis and squeeze that final in. Did you miss me much as the 100 comes up on the cards?
I always miss you, Monali.
Oh, so sweet, Brian. So sweet. I would miss me too, though.
Because who would? Who wouldn't?
Exactly.
My goodness.
Come on. Pace off and beautifully played for 4 runs, opening the face of the bat. And no real power on that, just using the pace off the delivery. Interestingly poised game.
They've lost a few wickets. Big wickets. You've lost Akarshik Gomel, Mukhtar Ahmed, and Pranav Chettipalayam. See that replay again. That's just opening the face of the bat. Saif Badar running it down the hill. But this pair at the wicket is very, very competent, and they can hit big, particularly Shubham Ranjani. Saif Badar more in the mold of the classic batter, but Shubham Ranjani can either bat sort of within himself, or he can hit big. He can do both. And so that single takes you to 8 runs from over number 13. End of 13, 105 for 3.
Thirteen overs gone, 105 for 3. And I say interestingly poised game because they're going at about 8 runs and over, and they're coming to an important passage here. In about 2 to 3 overs, you'd assume they want to try and accelerate that run rate. Looking for 2, and they will come through. Good running. Excellent running. Push that run rate, try and get a big score, and hopefully knock out the opposition quickly. The biggest concern here at the moment might be the weather, and the weather for the finals. Dangerous. Don't want to stick your boot out like that. That could result in a painful injury, especially as a fast bowler. You're landing pretty heavily on those feet, on those ankles. Just looking at the radar, and I'd assume that we should still be able to get most of the final in. So I don't think it's going to come down necessarily to net run rates for the final. I would assume we'd be able to get at least a shortened version of the finals in today. But the light has definitely changed quite a bit because of those heavy clouds coming in. It's quite dark, very overcast. Backing away this time to be able to swing those arms through, and this is going to sail away for a maximum. Top shot and in total control. Imran Khan trying to go full, trying to keep those stumps in contention, trying to cramp for room as well, but this is really well played. Good awareness to give himself some room here, Mukhtar Ahmed. Great cricket. Maximum, and then just work down the ground for a single. I ran into Pupudu Dasanaike not too long ago. And he's been out here looking at his players, not just the players that are currently in the squad, but also future potential talent. The USA men's team heads to Nepal in a couple of weeks for the Cricket World Cup League 2 games. And they come back to take on Canada in Canada. So coach doing quite a bit of scouting. 14 overs gone. It's 117 for 3. And this is the first time I'm seeing Brian Walters put on a sweater. Are you cold, Brian?
It's freezing in here.
Freezing?
You're from Canada, so...
Gosh, you guys use those words very loosely.
We have different opinions on what cold is. It's very, very, very chilly. Plus, it's overcast. It's gloomy. The temperature tomorrow will be about 20 degrees lower than it is right now. 20 degrees Fahrenheit, I should say. Imran Khan in for his last over.
20 degrees Fahrenheit. So perfect day out at NASA is what you're telling me.
No, I didn't say 20 degrees Fahrenheit. 20 degrees Fahrenheit less than what it is right now.
Listen, whatever the temperature is, I got to get to NASA. Got a free day now tomorrow. Such a space nerd. I am genuinely such a space nerd.
I lived in Houston for the first 22 years being in this country. And probably the first 10 years I went to NASA, I don't know, 8 times. After you've seen NASA that many times, there's not much urgency to go there. Having said that, the very first draft, Major League Cricket draft, was held at the Johnson Space Center at NASA, which was impressive.
Yes, I do remember that actually. But for those of us who don't live in Houston, or in the US for that matter, NASA still seems like this wondrous place of mystery and swing and a miss. He's asking the question. I don't think this has taken anything through to the keeper. Keeper not interested either.
Oh, that wry smile on Imran Khan's face tells you that he was also not interested. It's good delivery, though.
Are you sure? Are you sure you didn't hear something? Because I thought I heard something. Never mind. I changed my mind. Two straight. picked away and easy 4 runs. Shubham Ranjane.
Expertly done. Just helping it off his hips. You get into the body of a batter like Shubham Ranjane like that, especially with fine leg inside the circle, that is easy runs all day.
Low full toss, and it should just be the single. 15 overs gone. It's 124 for 3.
Earlier, when you asked me how this match was going to go, I suggested that the Clarion Eagles would end up scoring around 160. The way they started out, that score projected to well over 160, and I suggested then that I might have to recalibrate. Well, the scoring rate has come all the way back down to where the current scoring rate of 8.27 projects to a score of 165. But you've gotten out of the consolidation phase. You're now looking to see how you can push on from here in what you'd refer to as the acceleration phase. The consolidation phase, they scored at the rate of 7.38 runs and over. Lost 2 wickets, scored 59 in that time. Scored the same score essentially in the power play, 58, but they scored obviously much faster than that. But the challenge now is going to be to push on and get something in the realm of 170, 180 at a minimum, you would think. 10 and over from here gets you to 174, 9 and over 169. But this pair at the wicket who've been there now, partnership worth 33, do have the ability to push on from here.
And you know they're going to need runs as well because the batting on both of these sides is very good. A lot of depth. Clarion Eagles, a very strong side with the bat. Gotta go! Oh, that's going to be out. That is very unfortunate. And a shocker of a run out. Just seems to have lost concentration here. Shubham Ranjane, he's furious. I want to see who actually made this potential call because that should never have resulted in a run out.
Oh, you hate when you give it away. Played into the offside. And you get 1 run easily, but Stephen Wigg taking on the arm of a big fast bowler is never something that you'd want to do. And I have to say, I don't think that that's ever 2 runs there. If you immediately take off, possibly, but at the time where Stephen Wigg sprints in, clean pickup, he's a fast bowler, so he has a strong throwing arm. I don't know that I look for 2 runs there. And so the fact that he's looking to get to that second run with his partner running to the danger end, I hate to put that on Shubham Ranjane, but it's probably his fault.
Well, I want to see this again because I want to see where Seth Butter is on that second turn. Let's see if we can try and get one more look at this because I don't know if when he turned around, whether he had implied that the second run was on. Because he was also not in his crease. He was quite a few steps away from his crease.
Difference there being he's far from the danger end.
But if you're implying, okay, yes, the second's on, and then all of a sudden you're like, hang on, no, but your non-striker is already halfway down,
Sure.
Too late.
Implying is one thing. Loud communication, loud, clear communication is what's needed at that point. Boy, hate to give it away, though. Absolutely hate to give it away.
15.1 overs. It's 125 for 4. right, let's have a look at this running. Yeah, and Shubham Ranjane is mad here because take a look at how far down Safe Batter is. This is a miscommunication on both of their parts. And he's upset because he's saying, you called me down for that second and you stopped halfway. Unfortunate. You don't ever want to lose a wicket that way, especially when you've got a good partnership going and you're coming to the death of this innings. You want to be able to have your two set batters in for that. Now, and that's what I mean. So you've got Safe Batter who's gone halfway down, and then he just stops because he realizes, hang on, this is a bad call. We're too late for Shubham Ranjan. He's got to turn around and get back in his crease.
It essentially means no communication. And that's not anywhere near the level of communication that you need to be able to run effectively between the wickets. But again, to me, even if there is immediate communication, that's not a second run. You're taking on a Stephen Wigg who is sprinted in from the ropes, who's picked up cleanly, and who has a strong throwing arm. All of that to me says settle for one and face the next ball.
And that is going to be a wide. It also comes down to whose call that was. And if you look at where the ball went, Shubham Ranjane was the one who was supposed to make that call on the second because he's the one who would have had eyes on it, not his not Safe Batter who was facing away from where that ball was.
So Arful Haq, who is at the wicket now. Arful Haq has not contributed much with the bat. 17 runs in the tournament so far for the Clarion Eagles. So how much now is on that man, Saif Badar, who just strikes it into the deep for 4?
Well played. Very balanced shot. Hasn't really muscled this either. It's just been timed. Poor delivery. It was short. Didn't have the width. But Saif Badr's done really well to give himself that extra bit of width by moving back, giving himself room through the offside to be able to cut it away there. And leg side this time. It's in the gap as it's going to run away for 4 more. He's using his crease very well here, Saif Badr. 16 overs gone, 136 for 4.
It's an extra ball. And the extra ball once again goes away for runs. Can't bowl that straight with fine leg inside the circle. Really, don't ever want to bowl that straight anyway. But with fine leg inside the circle, it makes it that much more of a ball that you don't want to deliver. Saif Badr cashing in. 36 from 26. As I said, much of it now is going to depend on Saif Badr himself.
Discussion here between both of the umpires, Milind Kumar and Imran Khan. I'm not sure what this is. Seems like a bit of a heated conversation. Just want to see if we can get a replay on that last boundary again, because he's done so well, like I've mentioned, Saif Badr, to use that crease. Initially a movement to imply that he was going to go away to give himself room through the offside, and then he actually does the opposite and comes into the line of the ball to be able to work it into the leg side. Not a very bad ball, but he created that straight angle that he was looking for to be able to then tuck it away into the leg side.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hey.
I think we'll wrap it up. I'm going to push as hard as possible.
Yeah.
All I care about is second inning, 5 overs done, we are done.
5 overs, that's all you need.
That's all I need. But no, anyway.
Stephen Wigg coming in for his 3rd over. He's bowled well, just the 8 runs so far. But when you're in the death end of the innings, you just tend to see those expensive overs come out. Excuse me. My goodness, the pollen here. I think that's my third sneeze today.
That's the third sneeze since you've gotten back on the air. Stephen Wigg, I love as a bowler. 2 overs, 8 runs. Excellent bowling on his part, bowling the penultimate over the power play and then the first over out of the power play, and bowling in that stage with the 2 batters who were at the crease who were going on full attack to only come out of those 2 overs with 8 runs and then conceding a single here to start over number 17 is absolutely brilliant.
Looking to guide that in the gap. This could be trouble. I think he's in. I think he's made it. If the throw was better and if Stephen Wigg would have gotten in a better position to collect this ball. No real pace on that throw.
Well,
very gentle return.
Stephen Wigg is for some reason in front of the stumps. If he's behind the stumps, he collects that, and that is very, very close. It's really just over the line if Seth Badar makes it. To me, if Stephen Wigg is behind the stumps, sees the throw coming in and then collects it and then disturbs the stumps, to me that is an easy run out that is missed.
That's the reverse, played well, and it's going to go a couple bounces, 4 runs. I had mentioned that the economy rate was good coming into this over for Stephen Wigg. And these death overs can be so difficult for bowlers. Well played.
Certainly well played. And that line outside the line of off stump is one that would be one that you'd want if you were looking to play the reverse sweep. Said it a number of times this week. It is a premeditated shot, so you're essentially guessing that the ball is going to be where it ended up. In this case, it ended up exactly where Ariful Haq wanted it to be. 6 from 3 for him. Stephen Wigg just a touch more expensive in this over. Not unexpected because you're now in the 17th over.
Slower delivery. Had to wait on this one. This is well bowled.
Very well bowled. Sujit Gowda doing the fielding in the deep, but Ariful Haq playing just a touch early on that shot. And probably if that ball has pace on, it's good enough to clear the ropes at deep mid-wicket, but it's really well bowled by Stephen Wigg. Saif Badar, 37 from 27. Much on his shoulders at this stage.
Slower ball again, but it's a low full toss, and it's in the gap for 4 more. Just missing his line and length on this one.
Yeah, Stephen Wigg, that wry smile on his face tells the story. He knows that you're not going to get Saif Badar or any other top order batter out with those types of deliveries. Yes, you like the fact that he's taken the pace off, but you still have to land it in the right areas. And it being a low full toss makes it that much easier for Saif Badar to put away.
Pace off again and on the mark. Wide, keeps it very full as well, and a single to end the over. 17 overs gone. It's 148 for 4. .42 of 29. Saif Badar. He's batted really well today.
For me, Ariful Haq needs to start hitting. You still have Harmeet Singh in the hutch. You still have Mohammad Mohsin in the hutch. Those two are very big hitters. And so to justify your still being at the crease, Ariful Haq needs to start hitting. You like the reverse sweep, the previous over that went for 4, but you need for him to essentially not waste any more deliveries. Yes, Saif Badar is there. He's set 42 from 29, but you would hate to get through the end of this innings and not have either Harmeet Singh or Mohammad Mohsin at the crease because of how the opposition or the opposing batter is not batting very quickly.
That's a poor delivery to start. And it's going to be a no ball on height as well. Put away as easy as you like. And he's now moved up to 48 off 30 deliveries.
Absolutely shocker of a delivery. That makes it an illegal delivery. Full toss above the waist. And then Saif Badar compounds the error, at least from this viewpoint of Vedant Pathak, by putting him away over square leg for 6. So that now means with 6 runs having been scored and the no ball to boot, that the next ball is going to be a free hit. 150 is on the board, 155 for 4, and it gets much more difficult from here unless you can find a way to regain your disciplines. Not easy to put away full tosses in that way, by the way. Really well done by Saif Badar. Here's a free hit.
Tries to keep it wide of the swinging arc and does well to keep it to just the 1 run.
Arful Haq, 7 from 4. What I've just mentioned about him, I think is still valid. You have 2 big hitting all-rounders, lefties no less, in the lineup, at least in the hutch waiting to come in. You absolutely need to start hitting here.
Losing all shape as this has been sprayed into the offside. Is that tight? Is that out? Umpire says not out. From this angle, it looked like it was not out as well. Absolutely no control on that shot whatsoever.
I'll tell you what I'm seeing that I do not like. There is a lot of remonstration. There is a lot of arguing with the umpire. Smith Patel right there, who is a senior player who's been around for a very long time, to me should set the example. I don't like the fact that there is all of this remonstration against the decisions of the umpire. Happened in the previous over, and it is also happening again in this over. Umpire Owen Brown coming in to look to calm things down. Take a look at this again.
No, we're not side on. It's really hard to tell from this angle.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if we have a side on angle.
We certainly don't have a side on angle, but the camera from the opposite end should be able to pick up the story there. Now, does he have an argument? We'll see here on the replay when it comes up if we can get one from the opposite end when the batter is running toward the camera. From that end, you should be able to tell. But regardless of whether or not the call is correct, you cannot, as a fielding side or as a cricketer, here, this should give us a good look here. Oh, goodness. Okay, to me, that bat, there's nothing on the ground behind the line. So you may have a legitimate discussion as to whether or not that was out. But to me, again, as this is single into the outfield, to me, the bigger issue is how they're reacting with regard to the umpire.
Now, I understand it needs to be grounded. Again, this is why I'm saying if we have a side-on angle, we might be able to understand. To the umpire, who doesn't have the luxury of replays, if the umpire can see that some part of the bat is past the line, that might be close enough for them to say that's not out. It's hard to tell in the moment whether something's been grounded or not. Going to go all the way for 6 runs, and that is going to be a half century for Saif Badar as well. 55 off 32 deliveries. He has been outstanding with the bat for his side today and doing everything in his power to make sure that his side gets into the finals.
Huge hits. Saif Badar leaning on that one, and it's a slower delivery, the back of the hand slower ball from Vedant Pathak, but Saif Badar equal to the task and lofting it well and truly over cow corner for 6.
Nearly chopped on. Smith Patel, I'm not sure this was necessary. Brings in a bit of aggression. It's going to result in overthrows for one more run.
It's good running. And you mentioned aggression. Smith Patel is playing right now with a lot of testosterone. And that might be what sort of had that throw come out. And then you see his captain, Sidesh Pathar, coming over having a chat with him. Because, yes, aggression is good, but aggression still needs to mesh with common sense. You can't have a throw at the stumps like that, essentially giving away a free run.
Poor delivery and easily put away.
Wow.
Off the pads and a swivel of the wrists for a 6. Expensive over comes to an end. 18 overs gone. It's 173 for 4. Stephen Wigg comes in for his final over.
A big over, that last one. 25 runs. Remember, it started with the full toss, no ball for 6. And then Stephen Wigg now in for his last over. They have accelerated the scoring tremendously in the last several overs.
Thick edge. And you can't really place a field for that as it's going to run away for 4 runs.
Well, Ariful Haq now striking it at a 200 strike rate, which is certainly what you're looking for.
And he's only found the middle of his bat once.
This is true. And it was off the reverse sweep. So, yes, you do have big hitting still to come, but your job now, if you're at the crease, Ariful Haq, is to keep hitting and to keep supporting Saif Badar. 63 from 34. Excellent effort so far from Saif Badar. Stephen Wigg's last 2 overs have not gone the way that his first 2 did. 52 partnership, by the way, on that last boundary.
Moves well inside the line of that ball. I think he's just made it a lot more difficult for himself than he needed to. Manages just the 1 run.
He talked about how the fact that that projected score has changed a number of times already. Now projected to be 194, which again is more what you thought it was going to be when the openers Mukhtar Ahmed and Pranav Chettipalim were going at the top of the order. Saif Badar, I think, has rescued this side, and they're on the way to a really big score here. Oh, brilliant. Goes all the way for 6, straight down the ground. That is such a good shot by Saif Badar. Staying deep in his crease and getting underneath that one, elevating it down the ground for a clean strike to long on. Look at this. Look how low he gets, essentially bending that back leg to create the leverage to go big straight down the ground. And he now moves up to 69 from 35, almost, in fact, more than a 200 strike rate. This is really good stuff from Saif Badar. Gone. Reverse scoop. And it goes at pace, but straight to the captain. You see a really good catch taken there. And I will tell you what, Saif Badar, with a brilliant effort, so you don't want to criticize him, is that shot what was needed right then and there?
No. No, especially because there was a fielder right there. The intention was clear. He wanted to get it past that fielder. Right, left, or over. Instead manages to find the hands. A good innings, though, as you've mentioned, comes to an end. 18.4 overs gone. It's 184 for 5.
Well, the partnership that was just broken is the largest partnership in the innings so far. 59 is what Saif Badar and Ariful Haq put on for the 5th wicket. Opening partnership was 58, so that bests it by 1. Harmeet Singh at the crease. He is a big hitter, and he will join Ariful Haq 15 from 8 with just 8 deliveries remaining in this innings. Interesting. Saif Badar came into this match having scored 37 runs for the tournament in all matches combined.
Should just be a single. Gonna come back for 2 because of the misfield. And Harmeet Singh off the mark with the double. Hard-hitting batter. Perfect in these conditions to be able to come and close a game.
Harmeet Singh standing on off stump. Look where the back foot is. Inside the line, just outside the off stump line.
Well bowled delivery for a dot from Stephen Wigg. 33 for 1 in his 4-over spell. It's 19 overs, 186 for 5. Down to the final over. Last 6 legal deliveries. And it's been a decent outing with the bat so far. Clarion Eagles, 186. Just under 10 runs and over. They want to get a big over in here. If they can get over that 200 mark, it's going to be a lot of pressure for PRG to come out and attack from ball 1.
Adil Bhatti has bowled well enough in the first part of his spell, but been expensive in the 3rd over.
Outside edge again. And this time it is going to be the end. Didn't find the middle of the bat again, Huck, and it's a safe pair of hands on Stephen Wigg in the deep. Adil Bhatti's going to pick up his 2nd wicket, and a great way to start the last over.
Sliced into the deep. Stephen Wigg, very athletic, does well to not only take the catch but avoid stepping on the rope. And that puts you in a better position. You've gotten rid of Ariful Haq, who has been the, relatively speaking, the better set of the 2 batters because Harmeet Singh has only faced 2 balls. But that man coming to the crease is also a big hitter. It has to be said, though, that both batters at the crease now, between the 2 of them, have only faced 2 balls. So you would have wanted for one of your set batters to be taking you into the last 5 balls of this innings. But once again, having said that, these two gentlemen can both hit a cricket ball. Mohamed Mohsin, in particular, loves to play behind the stumps via the reverse sweep or the switch hit. And so with third inside the circle, I would look to see him try out that particular shot because he plays that shot well. Not as easy to play it off of a little bat to the pace bowler, but it's something to pay attention to.
Just had a feeling that Ariful Haq was going to get out, though. Wasn't able to find the middle of the bat, and almost everything that he hit was off an edge. Throws his hands at this, and it's going to get over the fielder. Won't find the rope. And 2 runs. Again, very well bowled from Adil Bhatti.
Vedant Pathak it was who was running back. Always hard to catch running backward, looking over your shoulder. That's one of the more difficult catches to take in any sport, let alone cricket. So Mohamed Mohsin immediately off the mark, but it will be advantage to the prime-rated Gladiators here to have gotten rid of the set batters going into the last 4 here with 2 relatively new men at the crease.
Through the offside, and he's got really good connection on this one. It's going to run away for 6 runs. Mohamed Mohsin.
Mohsin gets into this one. This is one of his favorite shots, up and over extra cover. And the second he played the shot, you knew that he nailed it. The body language essentially said, yep, that came out of the screws. And such a brilliant strike here from Mohamed Mohsin. Not to repeat myself, this is why I was earlier calling for Ariful Haq to hit out, because you want these 2 batters at the crease as soon as possible. And they're certainly here with the last 3 coming to the last 3 balls of the innings. You want them to be hitting the way they are right now.
Very well bowled, right in the block hole. And I'll come across for 2 more here. .196, 4 runs away from pulling up the 200.
Oh, you'd have to fancy their chances to go that far, wouldn't you? 10 from the over so far. Over started out well enough, just 2 runs from the first 2 balls with a wicket. But then Mohamed Mohsin has done really well so far from having come in.
Big delivery that. A dot ball in the final over.
So now it's happy hour, as the sun coincidentally is now bathing the outfield. You know that these 2 will be running on anything. It will be a mad scramble. Mohamed Mohsin wants to take all of the doubt out of that situation, though, and hit for the fences. I expect to see him essentially swinging out of his skin here on this last ball.
Oh, that is gonna be leg by. Surely. That's just gonna be the 1 leg by. That is a very interesting appeal, because that was his midriff.
That hit him in his stomach, so not sure where the the appeal for LBW how that would have played. Needless to say, not out on LBW, and of course you expect them to be running with that last ball anyway of the innings. They fight back really well. 1 run to the good, and then the wicket on the run out. So they end up at 197 for 7. Good effort for the Clarion Eagles. Innings ebbed and flowed for a while, but the fight back with the bat was mostly due to Saif Badar, who scored an imposing 69 from 36 balls. And so Harmeet Singh ends up with 2. Mohamed Mohsin a few runs toward the back end of the innings. Your target will be 198. Good batting session here for the Clarion Eagles.
They were excellent with the bat, weren't they? Hoping to get over that 200 mark. But a really good spell from Adil Bhatti, especially in that final over to limit it to under 200. The batting started well. Pranav Chetapaliyam, 36 off 28. Mukhtar Ahmed, a good partnership between both of them as he finished on 28. Double digits all the way through. Saif Badr, pick of the batters today with his 69 off 36 deliveries. 4 fours and 5 sixes in that. And a good late push towards the end from the batters. The bowling, on the other hand, well, a bit expensive.
Certainly. I thought Imran Khan bowled well with the new ball up front, but then runs coming down the lineup, particularly in the middle of the innings. Vedant Pathak took wickets but was expensive. Adil Bhatti also bowling during a very tricky time, so he went for double digits in terms of his economy rates. 2 wickets for Adil Bhatti and Vedant Pathak. As we look at these few highlights here, I'll tell you, to the extent that you wanted a fast start, Pranav Chetapaliyam and Mukhtar Ahmed provided that. A couple of big hits. You saw Pranav Chetapaliyam with really excellent batting all around the crease, make that all around the ground. And to the extent that you wanted to make sure that anything that happened is something that you want to push forward for in terms of a big score. You got that start. But Adil Bhatti comes into the attack. Saw that big hit over the top of long off that went away for 6. Mukhtar Ahmed sailing the ball all around the ground, but wickets started falling, and he got some the early breakthrough first. Slow deliver there, the ball up in the air, and a pretty straightforward chance, and a pretty simple catch there. Then the reverse sweep, and Chetapaliyam playing that one really well. Here, just this down to Stephen Wigg. This to me is a very straightforward. In fact, that was Adil Bhatti. Very straightforward chance. Captain coming to the crease. That shot there of his was one of authority off the back foot, but then coming here, this to me is a very straightforward catch. Stephen Wigg. In fact, it was Sujit Gowda who initially dropped it, but then took the catch on the rebound. Saif Badr, for me, the best of the batters today. Hitting out when he needed to, hitting big when he needed to, just being sort of within himself when he wanted to. This was an absolutely shocker to dismiss Shubham Ranjani. And then a few runs toward the back end. Ariful Haq played his part, as did Saif Badr, clipping that one elegantly off his legs for a boundary. This reverse sweep is one that cleared short third, and then Saif Badr hitting out, accelerating really well, strike rate of somewhere close to 200. That full toss that was put away for 6 off the no ball was also a really excellent effort by him. And you've gotten now to the point where just about an attacking target, that target is one that you'd want to be able to think that you'd be able to get over. However, when you get to this stage of the innings, this stage of the tournament, it becomes that much more difficult. Saif Badr will be upset that that scoop shot went straight to Sudesh Patari. And then a few runs down the ground, the last over here going for a few runs. That one over extra cover was a brilliant shot from Mohamed Mohsin. And so your target is 198. Short break for us with the clouds overhead. We'll see whether or not the prime rated Gladiators can book their ticket by getting 198 runs in the next 120 balls. See you shortly.
Welcome back to the action. It's time for the chase. And 198 runs from 120 balls is what they need. The prime rated Gladiators. A decent first innings effort with the bat by the Clarion Eagles. They put on 197 runs. Some excellent batting by Saif Butter as well. And now this will be a tall task. Always a bit of pressure when you're chasing. But we know PRG does have a lot of depth in this batting lineup. They've got a lot of experience. And they've got a very experienced batter out in the middle who's in red hot form in Smith Patel. Fell just short of a century yesterday, Smith Patel.
Red hot batter. Indeed. Make that red hot batter indeed. Smith Patel. 285 runs is what he's gotten so far in the tournament. Easily more than twice the runs of any other person in the side. The person who is second on that list for the prime rated Gladiators is the man in the center of your screen, Abhinav Sikaram, left-handed batter, opening batter. So the 1 and 2 batters in terms of aggregate runs are your openers. So you can do worse chasing a heavy total like 198 by having your number 1 and number 2 batters at the crease. They'll have to do it against the bowling of a man who I think is one of the better bowlers in the tournament. You've seen excellent work here. Abimanyu Lamba is really, really good with the ball. And to the extent that he has not only the ability to take wickets, he's the 4th leading wicket taker in the side, but also really good in the field with 3 catches. So you expect for them and Abimanyu Lamba himself to put up stiff resistance to these 2 batters.
We started well. There is a slip in place. Shubham Ranjane. And a good stop in the covers. Very nearly a run out as well. I think this is closer than it looks.
It's not close at all. This is gone. This is gone by a mile if this hits. Take a look at this again. They hesitated going for that run. Abhinav Sikaram, I think, is gone by probably a yard if this hits. We'll see if we can get this replay. But to me, they might consider themselves lucky here, the prime rated Gladiators, that they're not none for one. Take a look at this replay. Here's a throw. We'll get back to that shortly. But in my mind, looking at it live, that looks gone.
Well, the important part is he's still out there.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Nice and fine as this runs away for 4 more. It's the first aggressive shot that we've seen in the innings so far. And he's picked up exactly where he left off, Smith Patel.
Take a look at this. Now, it is the fact that Abimanyu Lamba swings the new ball, but he swings it typically opposite of the way that you expect a right-handed fast bowler to swing it. He swings it into the right-handers away from the lefties. That one he started too straight, and that additional swing taking it down the leg side easily put away for 4.
Very, very full, and he's played over this.
The story there is that that ball rolled to the keeper. That ball did not bounce at all. I want to take another look at that, but my goodness, this, if you have the situation, you're chasing almost 200 runs. In fact, looking at that replay, it's actually off the bottom edge of the bat. So the Q edge of the bat is why that ball didn't carry through to wicketkeeper Pranav Chetapalli. Down the ground, good looking shots. Right past the bowler for 4. That is an excellent shot by Smith Patel. And he's picking up where he left off, as you mentioned.
1 delivery to come. 9 runs off the over already. Just 2 full and 2 straight. Drives are a dying breed, aren't they? It's nice to see them when they do get played.
Drives that are all along the ground, right past back where they came from, are really, really spectacular. I've been minding it needs to be just a little shorter than that.
Worked into the leg side. And that is going to be a single to wrap up the first over. 10 for none. Shubham Aranjane is going to come in with the ball. Taking an awful lot of time in between overs here.
You really don't want to see that, do you? Especially with rain expected. Well, talked about Shubham Ranjane, and if he's not the best all-rounder in the country, there's probably not three people in front of him. Saw him with the bat earlier, got run out in just absolutely shambolic fashion. And typically, if you're an all-rounder in a side and you fail in one area, it motivates you that much to excel in the other.
Cutaway. There is the one fielder in the deep. Power play overs, just the two fielders allowed. Believe that's Mohammed Mohsen in the deep.
Abhinav Sikaram, left-hander, is on strike. Monale, I am very concerned about the two kids who are playing right here in front of us at what essentially is cow corner, because it's also one of Abhinav Sikaram's favorite scoring areas.
Harmeet Singh's kids, adorable little things. Look at them.
Yep.
They're learning how to bowl.
Oh, sprayed down the leg side. So your kids in no way, shape, or form are attracted to cricket, correct?
Even if they were, they're not going to be allowed to play cricket.
Not going to be allowed to play cricket.
No.
Tell me why.
Well, let's just say I'm looking forward to finding out about struggles in other sports. Unless we lived in Australia. But that's going to be the first wicket. Shubham Ranjane into the attack, and he picks up an early breakthrough here for his side. 12 for 1. And it's Sikaram who's going to have to walk back.
Big wicket, that one. For the moment, the kids at cow corner are safe because that is off the outside edge, sliced away. Abhinav Sikaram not getting this anywhere near the middle of the bat, and a straightforward catch by Saf Badar, who's having a really, really good day in the field and with the bat. Make that with the bat. You saw what he did with the bat earlier, but as of right now, he contributes in the field. That is brilliant stuff. Clarion Eagles striking first, scored 12 for 1.
Yeah, I don't know. Between my husband and I think there's enough cricket in our house. I want them to play other sports. Let's find out all the other struggles in the other sports.
Such a beautiful...
Aren't they adorable? Look at them. And the shirt was
kids.
tied, so it wasn't a dress before, but now where it was tied has come undone, so it looks like a little dress. Harmeet Singh's two kids.
I love that action. No, we have to Send them to the ICC bowling clinic there, because that looked like it was more than 15 degrees on that last one.
This is where you want the love of the game to start, though, right when they're young. No overcoaching, no talk of technique. Just let them have some fun. Oh, she's got to be careful. She nearly knocked him down with that ball.
Yep.
Back to the middle, though, as we see Sujit Gowda walk out to the middle. Early breakthrough here. And Clarion Eagles are going to feel very happy with that because they know there's a lot of batting in this side. PRG. Both of these sides looking for a spot in the final. I know we don't have a visual on Harmeet Singh's son here, but when he holds that ball, especially in the right hand, you should see the angle. He's already ready to bowl leg spin. I don't mean left arm orthodox, I mean right arm. They're so flexible at that age, eh? When they're little.
When my son used to play cricket, bowled right, batted left, people were accusing me of having forced him to bat left-handed to match his father. Nonsense, all of it.
My son does that too. Bats left-handed. Any racket, bat, sport, left-handed. Throwing, writing, everything else right-handed. Don't know what his sport's going to end up being yet. He plays multiple sports. My daughter plays multiple sports, but she's on her way to hopefully picking gymnastics as her full-time. We can only hope as parents that they end up specializing in at least one. Picked up beautifully. Does it have enough? Not quite. But it does land short of the fielder.
Jesse Singh tracking back from mid-off. Couple more runs to Sujit Gowda. 4 from 3. Smith Patel 10 from 5. Sujit Gowda, obviously a very good batter. But short of runs coming into this match. Just 11 runs in the tournament so far.
Decent over with a wicket as well. 2 overs gone. It's 17 for 1.
I keep saying you're a hard taskmaster. In the power play, you just took a wicket and only conceded 7 runs, and that qualifies as a decent over for you.
Yeah, I didn't say it was a bad over. I said it was a decent over.
What would it take for you to say that is an excellent over inside the power play?
Well, first of all, you got to get rid of the wide. And, second of all, if you can get rid of a few runs from in there, excellent.
7 overs.
Not saying it's a bad over. Not saying it's a bad over whatsoever. It's a decent over. God, now you know how my kids feel. Don't compliment very easily. And so when I do, my kids are like, really? Are you sure? That was good? See, you've got to earn the compliments. You can't just give them out like free candy.
Jesse Singh. Interesting that the first over from Abhimanyu Lamba going for 10. Change immediately made.
Did you go to your kids' sports when they were growing up?
Are you serious?
Yeah, very legit question.
100%.
Yeah, I don't. Because when I do, I'm one of those crazy moms on the sidelines.
That you can't have the crazy parent on the sideline.
That's
but
why you don't go.
It's essentially, you are, in my mind, okay, I won't speak for you. For me, I would have thought that I was shirking my responsibility as a parent to not be there and be their biggest cheerleader.
That is my husband. Their cheerleader. Well played. Shimmy down the ground, beats the fielder, and it's going to be 4 runs. Jesse Singh hit for a boundary on his second delivery. I mean, I'm very supportive of them, don't get me wrong. I'm just very emotionally invested.
That, to me, and maybe we'll get your kids on during, I don't know, halftime between this match and the final. Get them on a Zoom call and have them give their efforts or their opinion as to whether or not they'd like to see their mom on the sideline.
No, I don't keep. I keep my kids away from media.
Jesse Singh not overpitching that one. That was made into a drive for the reason that you mentioned. Sujat Gowda come running down the track to drill that one away wide of cover.
That is an excellent delivery. Dug in short, taking it away from the right-hander. Sujit Gowda's followed this ball and managed an edge to the keeper. That's going to be the second one, and this is a lot of trouble here for PRG, having lost 2 wickets in quick succession.
Now, was the shot on? Yes. It was wide, and with deep third, relatively wide, a top edge that flies over the slip cord and would likely have gone for 4. But it's the extra pace that you get from Jesse Singh. I said earlier in the week, he's not necessarily as quick as he used to be a few years ago. He's in his middle 30s by now, but still plenty quick enough to be able to generate the pace to have Sujit Gowda play just a fraction late. And the fact that he played that late means that it comes off of the edge of the bat instead of the middle. Sujit Gowda only scoring a handful of runs. Again, he came into this tournament short of runs, and in my mind, he's a much better batter than he's shown in this tournament. Unfortunately for him, dismissed for 9, 2 wickets down. The score is 21 for 2.
Milind Kumar out to the middle early today. Part of an excellent partnership with Smith Patel a couple of days ago. And then finished the game off in style yesterday on the ground behind us. Just want to see if we can get another look at this wicket that's fallen. It's going to take some chasing, isn't it, from here on, having lost 2 early wickets.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel that Smith Patel's got to be key again. He has to see this innings through. Comfortably played and off the mark for a single.
Talked about the fact that it's going to be a tricky chase. Interestingly, behind us, the second semifinal is underway. Scorecards actually look very much alike. Space City Cowboys batting first in that match, 194 for 8 as compared to 197 for 7 here. The Atlanta Fire in response are 12 for 1 as compared to 21 for 2 here. So it feels like both of these semifinals are going to come down to the business end. It's not going to be an easy chase, but both teams batting second have the firepower to be able to overhaul the target.
That's a wide. Milind Kumar looking to see if there might have been a possibility of running through. Smith Patel's like, well, I wasn't looking at you. And I couldn't hear you. It's too windy and noisy out there with the highway. A bit more relaxed with the bat in hand, Smith Patel, than he was with the gloves.
Yeah, I'm not going to beat that dead horse, but let's just hope that calmer heads will continue to prevail as they have in the last several overs.
Adrenaline's a funny thing, though, isn't it? When it's going, it's just... Oh, that is just over the stumps. Jesse Singh is thinking just a couple of inches lower. Swing and a miss. 1 delivery to come. It's been a decent over so far.
Of course, this is national player versus national player. Both of these men have represented the U.S. in recent years. Jesse Singh, unfortunate to not have been able to play in the World Cup this last year, or earlier in the year, was injured during one of the warm-up matches. And Smith Patel's pedigree, I think, speaks for itself.
Cover just coming back in the circle. Oh my word, more changes. Again, no problem with you getting your field placement right, but you've got to be quicker at doing this. Into the gap for a single to round off the third over. It's 24 for 2. Harmeet Singh being introduced early with the ball. Bright blue shoes.
Harmeet Singh bowling to Smith Patel. Number 1, national player to national player. Number 2, former India U19 player to former India U19 player. Both men on the India U19 2012 team that won the World Cup that year. Unmukh Chand was also on that team. Different context here, though.
Dropped into the leg side. And a quick single. So much talent in India, isn't there? Number of players that they would have had coming up through the system who don't actually end up playing at the top level because the sheer amount of competition must be incredible. Soft hands again, and excellent running to pick up another single. Harmeet Singh not too happy about that. Very well bowled. Saw Smith Patel trying to give himself some room, follows it, fires it in as well.
Well, you would think that they both know each other's games very well, having played together in their formative years, and of course right here in the US for the last several years.
Wow.
Huge swipe and a miss.
Just struggling a little bit here, Smith Patel. It's not the sort of sign that you want to see if you're PRG. Latched onto this one a little bit shorter, and he gets full reward for it as this is smashed away for 6 runs.
Well, if you're struggling, the best way to not struggle is for Harmeet Singh to pitch one down halfway at that length with nobody in the deep at mid-wicket. That just sits up and begs to be whacked, going down the leg side too. So too short and too straight. And Smith Patel, even though he hasn't really gotten off to a fast start that he normally would, easily able to take care of that one.
down the ground and a single to end the over. 4 overs gone. It's 33 for 2.
.3 runs and over is what you need to be able to win this game. 165 runs needed in the next 96 balls. Jesse Singh back into the attack. Tell you what, Jesse Singh is bowling with more pace than I've seen him bowl in a while. That ball is zipping through at pace, really looking dangerous. And in my mind is really, so far based on early returns, is the quickest of the bowlers that you've seen on offer and the best of them so far today.
Can't find the gap on that one. And what a start this is to a second over. Jesse Singh. Pulled away in the gap, and it's got some speed to it as well. It's going to run away for 4 runs.
So that length is not going to bother Smith Patel in any way. He drags this one outside the line of off stump or from outside the line of off stump. When I say that length, it's not a genuine short ball, and it's certainly not full. It's just a ball that sits up around waist height. Smith Patel easily able to put those away.
Beautiful. Straight down the ground, and it's a 1 bounce 4. Made this look very effortless, Smith Patel.
Well, the previous delivery was too short. This one is too full. It is in the slot, and Smith Patel only too happy to help himself to 4 runs down the ground. At that length, you're going to need to expect that you'll be punished. So somewhere in between the length and the last 2 balls is what you're looking for. And of course, with mid-on inside the circle, that is not going to present any sort of a threat to Smith Patel, who's racing along now. He was a little bit scratchy in the last several overs, but now looking to stamp his authority. 8 from the over already, and he's at 27 from 16.
Oh, that's come in quite sharply. Seam movement off the surface.
Well, when he doesn't bowl with lightning pace, and again, he's never been really lightning quick, but what he does well, Jesse Singh, is get that movement off the seam. When he gets it right, he can knock over the best. I seem to remember in the World Cup in 2024, I don't remember the exact Pakistani batter, but he trapped him LBW with a ball essentially identical to that one, moving in off the seam and threatening the stumps or the pad. You can always expect that at least twice per spell from Jesse Singh.
Oh, that's well bowled. Played down the wrong line there, Smith Patel, and a dot to end the over. 5 overs gone. It's 41 for 2.
Here's some symmetry for you, Manali Patel. End of the power play, make that end of over number 5. The Prime Raider Gladiators are 41 for 2. End of over number 5, the Clarion Eagles were 41 without loss. So the exact same score. They will not want to have lost the 2 wickets that they've lost, but they're at least keeping up with the required rate, at least as it returns or as it pertains to what the score was at this equivalent point in the game, in the first innings.
Well, I've got to say, I know I'm being critical here, but we know there's rain on the horizon. We know the over rates have been slow, and we know how important it is to get this final in today. Height, a bit of an issue on that. I'm just a little bit disappointed at the urgency or the lack of urgency.
I was about to say, by urgency, you mean lack of urgency.
To get these overs in. And surely you got to be able to, at this level, set your field a little bit faster than that.
I think the umpires allowing a little bit more leeway. Umpires Owen Brown and Ankara Kolkar, 2 of the best in the country.
In the gap, fielders didn't have to move whatsoever on that one as this races away to the boundary for 4.
Abhimanyu Lamba not having the best of days with the ball. First over went for 10 runs, a couple of boundaries, 2 deliveries into his second over. He's already conceded a boundary. Look at this, very wide. You can't bowl that width and that length. Essentially short and wide, and in no form of cricket is that going to be a productive delivery. So what he does best is bowl a fuller length, and with the new ball, swing it into the righties. But at minimum, he's going to have to be much, much straighter than that last ball would indicate.
Down the ground. Should get a couple. No, they'll settle for just the 1 run here.
Oh, no. They will not run in Saif Badar's arm. I've talked a number of times in this tournament about how strong Saif Badar's throwing arm is. And even from the boundary, he can easily throw from there to the striker's end. He can throw the ball 100 yards. And of course, both batters would know that, so they will not absolutely take his arm on.
Top edge, and it's gonna go all the way for 6 more. Wow, and you know you're struggling. If there's ever any doubt as a bowler, that's your cue right there. Top edge for 6.
Seam movement into the right-handed Smith Patel, and that to me is an indication that, as you said, you're having sometimes it's just not your day. Some days you're the pigeon, some days you're the tree. And I'm assuming that one you've never heard either.
just a human. Always.
By the way, the 50 up with that last strike. Strike may be overstating it, but with that top edge, you're up to 50 now. 52 for 2 with 1 ball remaining here in the power play. Abimania Lamba, his 2 overs, at least 1 over and 5 balls so far, have already cost 21 runs.
When were you a pigeon or a tree?
Do you understand what the analogy means, by the way?
Yes.
Okay,
Brian.
just checking.
But it's so much better when it's not an analogy and you're actually talking facts.
Full disclosure, I have never been either a pigeon or a tree.
Very interesting.
Yes. Interesting that talked about Jesse Singh earlier. Jesse Singh is now walking off the field and Vivek Kanumuri is in as a replacement for him. Seems to be walking with the trainer as well. So maybe having a little bit of trouble here, Jesse Singh. Well, he closes better than he started, Abimania Lamba. The last 2 balls are 2 dots. You like that, but still conceding 21 from his first 2. End of power play, 52 for 2 after 6.
Sliced. Opening the face of the bat really, really nicely here. Milind Kumar is going to pick up a boundary off the first delivery of the over.
Mohamed Mohsen into the attack. It is not overstating it, Manali, to say that the team that wins this game will be the team who gets the best of this partnership. In other words, if this pair goes on and puts on a big partnership, you like the chances of the primary of the Gladiators to win. If this partnership is broken relatively quickly, then the Clarion Eagles, I think, have a mind up, or at least have a leg up.
It's really hard to say which way this game's going to go yet. Very early in the game still.
Mm-hmm.
Top edge. And an excellent catch in the deep. That's a big wicket. Milind Kumar is going to have to walk back here. And Mohamed Mohsen comes in and gets a very important breakthrough here. That's the 3rd one gone.
What a huge wicket that one is. Partnership was growing. It was 35. I literally just said that the chances of the Clarion Eagles winning this match depended on them breaking this partnership. And there is a huge, huge wicket here. Mohamed Mohsen taking or getting the breakthrough. That's a good catch by Karshik Gomel, by the way. It's not easy to catch sprinting in like that in that way, and how big it is to dismiss that man in the middle of your screen. Milind Kumar is an experienced player. He's a big game player, national player, but you've gotten rid of him for a relatively paltry score. That, to me, is a body blow for the chances of the primary of the Gladiators winning this match. You get Milind Kumar for just 8, make that 11 runs off of 8 balls faced. That is a gigantic development in the context of this match.
Kuram Khan out in the middle, replacing Milind Kumar. Massive, massive wicket that Mohammad Mohsin's just picked up. Kept a little low. You just sense this game that was in balance until that wicket is now going to take a bit of a slow turn here for PRG. It's also going to put a lot of pressure on Smith Patel.
Speaking of pressure, the biggest source of pressure right now, tied between scoreboard pressure and finals pressure. And maybe to a slightly lesser extent, weather pressure.
No timing whatsoever. That's going to be another dot. That is an excellent delivery and an excellent over from Mohammad Mohsin. 7 overs gone, 56 for 3.
$56 for 3 after 7. At the equivalent stage in their innings, the Clarion Eagles were 63 for 1. Vinit Sinha into the attack.
Dragged into the leg side. Should just be the single. Thanks. Need to find a way to release this pressure here, PRG. 141 needed off 77. Soft. Very, very soft dismissal this. He has practically handed the ball to the keeper. And that's going to be wicket number 4. Sinha into the attack. He picks up another one. And they're falling like flies here, PRG.
Before the matches, when the teams are warming up, you see slip catching practice. This is what this is. This is slip catching practice. You just simply guide it directly into the hands of the fielders behind the keeper and the slips. And that's exactly what this is. That ball was wide enough that if you are going to play a shot, you throw the bat at it. You give it the full-blooded cut. In the context where you have a really, let's call it a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, in terms of the final coming up at 2:30 local time, you want to do what you can to get your team there. This, to me, is about as soft a dismissal that you could ever hope to see. So no real partnerships of any note being developed here. The first wicket partnership was 12. Second wicket partnership, 9. Third wicket partnership, the big one that I thought would have impacted this game, only went for 14. And then that partnership just now broke in 22. This is trouble.
That's my baby. Look at him go.
Adil Bhatti is the new batter. Earlier I said that these days he's known more as a bowler than as a batter, but he is a very accomplished middle order batter. Again, representing the US for a number of years. And He is going to need to draw on some of that skill and talent and experience here because his team is struggling. He's lost a lot of wickets, 4 big top order wickets. Smith Patel still at the non-strikers end. He will have a lot to say about what happens the rest of the way, but my goodness, Adil Bhatti himself and the batters who come after will certainly have a part to play in that. A couple of runs here, in fact, just 1 run into the deep.
Watch this. Ready?
Smith Patel, 34 from 22. He has not faced a lot of the strike recently. And it's going to, you think, come down to him regaining the dominance that he's had in this tournament. Coming in as the leading batter in the side, Smith Patel, 285 runs is what he had coming in. But he's now going to be asked to help his team overhaul this target. Another 140 needed in 74 balls. What a great over this first one is here for Vineet Sinha. Just 2 runs conceded in this over, 1 wicket already taken. This is how you apply pressure because now the required rate is at the stage where it's starting to increase. 11.5 per over is what you need the rest of the way. Only scoring at the rate of 7.4. So things becoming more and more difficult here for the prime rated Gladiators.
And if he finishes well here, skied high, should be another wicket, and this is the big wicket. This is the big wicket of Smith Patel, and this is an excellent over. 2 wickets, just the 2 runs, and what a breakthrough this is. It's the batter in form, Smith Patel.
Did I just hear the harshest grader in the history of all cricket call this an excellent over? Well, then that means that you cannot have a bigger over than this one. Smith Patel with the top edge. You know, for 100 times out of 100, Saif Badar will take that catch. Under no circumstances would he have put that one down. 2 wickets in that over, only 2 runs scored. Body blow, absolute body blow. Half of the side is done before over number 9 starts. This is really good stuff from the Clarion Eagles. Prime rated Gladiators in trouble, 58 for 5.
Mohamed Mohsin into the attack. In the gap. This game has completely swung in the Clarion Eagles' favor, and it's going to take an absolute miracle for PRG to come out on top of this game now. I know it's early days, still 8 overs in, but when you've got half your lineup back in the pavilion, and that lineup includes your top batters, you would have to think that it's going to be a very, very steep chase from here on.
Number 1, that's self-evident, I think. Number 2, all the big batters back in the pavilion, but Adil Bhatti is still there. So look at that. That looks like the Adil Bhatti who you've seen in the past representing the US, and that tells me that he is not willing to go gently into the good night just yet. So that huge strike, Mohamed Mohsin getting this one just a little bit too full in the slot. Adil Bate dragging it away for 6.
Come back for 2 runs here. Good running. Trying to get through his over quickly, Mohamed Mohsen. As a spinner, you want to see that. You want to try and put pressure on the batter, unsettle them.
I was once an umpire in a game that Mohamed Mohsen was bowling, and I told the team they're falling behind in the over rate. Mohamed Mohsen grabbed the ball and bowled 1 over in 90 seconds. So they can be quick when they want to be.
I tell you, when I am bowling, I like the ball back to me nice and quick. Get through those 6 deliveries nice and quick.
Oh, you're a spinner, so.
I did single to end the 9th over, 70 for 5. I do remember this game I played. It was actually after I retired. I playing one game in the women's league, and it was a player who liked to take her time in between deliveries, and I mean really take time. And so she backed away a couple of times, and I am furious at this point. So I just wait there. I wait there for about 40 seconds. I'm like, you take your time. Let me know when you're ready.
So the thing you hate is the thing that you actually also did?
Yeah, because now when she's ready, I'm telling her I'm not ready. You take your time. Get ready.
Two can play at this game. Pout, pout, frown, frown.
And then I got her out, by the way. That's the cherry on the cake right there. Cherry on the icing. Which is it? Icing or cake?
Both. It's cake, then icing, then cherry.
Worked into the leg side. These singles are not going to get them over the line at this point. Yes, plenty of overs to come. Just need to try and find a couple of big blows here. Try and release a little bit of this pressure.
Vinitsina is bowling a really good spell. 2 for 3 from 1.1. 2 runs in his first over. Anytime you bowl an over where you take as many wickets as runs you conceded, you are well ahead of the game.
Direct
that is
hit.
Close. Umpire Owen Brown with a good long look. A replay here would be tricky, or it would be interesting, because Sidesh Patari doesn't slide the bat into the crease. He grounds it. Take a look at this. And here. Oh my goodness.
I think this was closer than we first might have thought.
Looking at it live, at least thought it was close. That replay to me says it may just have been out.
Swing and a miss, looking to put that into outer space.
So that required rate now up above 12. 2 runs a ball needed the rest of the way if you want to win this game and get into the finals. Maybe after the over, we'll take a look at what's going on in the other game, because we want to see which 2 teams will be playing in the finals, the winner of this game versus the winner of the Atlanta Fire and Space City Cowboys.
Outstanding bowling figures this for Vinitsina. 4 for 2 in his 1.4 overs. 2 massive wickets. Oh, that's kept low. It's going to be a single. Only thing he now needs is another wicket for me to call it an excellent over. But this is really good bowling. Keeping it very tight. Boldham, top of off stump. What a delivery this is. Vinit Sinha gets his third wicket, and that's going to be the end of Adil Bhatti. That is going to be an excellent over.
Knocking over Adil Bhatti, the former USA middle order batter, and that to me, Manali Patel, feels like it's the beginning of the end. Taking the top of off. That was outside off stump. It started on a fourth stump line, but it seamed in and took the top of off. Adil Bhatti, that ball will have dismissed many, many batters who are at that caliber or higher than Adil Bhatti. 6 wickets down, another 125 runs adrift, but this starts to feel like the beginning of the end for the Prime Raider Gladiators. 73 for 6. Just to talk about what's going on semi-final number 2, field number 6. Atlanta Fire chasing 195 for victory, are 68 for 3 in the 10th over. They need to score at the rate of 12 runs and over to win. They, I think, are a much deeper batting unit than the Prime Raider Gladiators, so all not done for them yet. But I think both teams that are defending might feel like they have a leg up on each of those games as we speak. Once again, the final later on this afternoon, 2:30 local time here in the Prairie View area. Might have some rain around, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. But for now, each of the teams that are batting first, I think, or who that batted first, will feel happy where they are. Harmeet Singh back into the attack.
73 for 6. They will be very disappointed with this effort, PRG. I think when they look back, they will wonder if there was any way to try and limit the number of runs that they gave in that first innings. Especially because they won the toss and chose to have a ball first. Down the ground for a single. Clarion Eagles are going to think we need to wrap this game up quickly, try and get a bit of a rest in before we play the finals, because it would be right after this game.
Well, it certainly is the fact that with only 2 balls remaining in over number 13, the Clarion Eagles are well and truly on top in this game. And PRG going through the last rites here, but it feels like clearly only one team is going to have any sort of say in what happens the rest of the way. Look, if you still have a bat in your hand, you have a chance. And so the game is not finished. But with the wickets that they've lost so far, all of the top batters have already been dismissed. And it's going to be Siddhesh Patari on strike now, joining with Vedant Patak to see how they can mount some sort of resistance.
Oh, very, very early through that shot. And lands in no man's land. Get over it. 3 runs coming off of it. 11 overs gone. It's 76 for 6.
Over number 12, about to start. The captain, Akarshik Gomel, has brought himself into the attack. I don't know that I've ever seen Akarshik Gomel bowl left arm orthodox. And I only know that because I saw that first delivery. Didn't know what he'd be coming with. But they're in trouble here, the primary the Gladiators. Vedant Patak 1 from 2. Sidesh Patari 7 from 9.
Fishes the wide. And they'll run just the single.
Well, safe to say that Captain Akarsha Gomel would not have thought that he was one of the strike bowlers coming in, one of the main bowlers. Now, it may be the fact that, we highlighted earlier that Jesse Singh was off the field. It may be that Jesse Singh is no longer going to be able to take part with the ball. And under those circumstances, maybe you need to pick up a couple overs from somewhere else. So the captain bringing himself on for that reason. Required rate all of 14.5. Manali, it might be time to stop even mentioning that because it continues to go further and further out of reach.
Yeah, I personally felt that once Smith Patel got out, that was about it because it was always a very tall ask. 12 overs gone, it's 80 for 6.
Our predictions ahead of the game. Remind me who picked whom again?
I actually don't remember.
Wow, maybe somebody who's listening can see if they can remind us because I'm pretty sure if I rewound the tape and listened, it may be that I thought that PRG.
I actually don't remember it, genuinely.
You genuinely said PRG would win.
Well, because I was banking on Smith Patel. He let me down today.
Great delivery from Mohammed Mohsin to start over number 13. And I will tell you that it feels now is just a matter of knowing what the final margin of victory is going to be because PRG feels like this one is on the way in one direction only. Now, you still have a bat in your hand, as I said a second ago. Sidesh Pathar going downtown for 6.
Need quite a few more of those to get over the line here, PRG. But this is well struck. Bit of turn. This one coming into the right-hander.
Tell you what, that was the googly that he struck, and let's give him credit for that, Sidesh Pathare, because he hit it with the turn. It's a pretty good shot.
Down the ground this time. This could be tight. I will get through comfortably in the end for 2 more runs. Tossed up delivery, placed completely over it, loses all shape on this.
That is well bowled by Mohammed Mohsin. Tossed up indeed, taking all the pace off, flighting it beautiful, getting it up above the eye line of Sidesh Pathare.
Flatter this time. And a single to end the over. 90 for 6 after 13.
Pinar gone. Zishan Maksud gone. Stephen Taylor gone. Sai Makamala gone. Abdullah Malek gone. And they, in chasing 195, are 83 for 6. So they're struggling as well. As of right now, it appears as though it would be the Clarion Eagles and the Space Boys in the final.
Outside edge and a fairly easy catch. That's going to be yet another wicket. Wicket number 7 goes down. It's 90 for 7. Wicket number 7. 90 runs on the cards and in all sorts of trouble here, PRG. Gomel picks up a wicket off the first delivery of the over. Siddhesh Patari was looking to accelerate the run rate. In the end, just manages to find the fielder at point. This is going to be a wide. I'll have to re-bowl that one. Stephen Wigg out in the middle with the bat. Had a good time with the ball today in the first innings. And he's going to get off the mark with this.
I know you saw that throw just now. I know you saw that throw. What I keep talking about, the throwing arm of Saif Badar. It's a little element of the game, but it's so exciting to me to see a strong throw coming in from the outfield.
Down the track. And it's very, very straight. This is going to go all the way for 6. Trying to keep themselves alive here, PRG.
And all that 6 does is bring you to within exactly 100 of the target.
Mathematically possible.
Oh, no question it's mathematically possible. You still need less than 3 runs a ball to win, so you're in the game.
Goes again. Not the connection he would have liked this time. I think. Wait, what? That's mine. But I need a fork.
Outside edge found.
Oh, there's my fork. Or do you have a fork? You do?
In fact, that ran all the way for 4. I didn't realize that that edge would have gone all the way for 4, but it runs down the hill. And so one of the better overs that you've had for a while for PRG. Kaushik Gomel takes a wicket with his first ball of the over, but concedes a few runs, a 6 and a 4. So he ends that over with exactly 13 runs, 103 for 7, 95 needed in the last 36 balls. Mohamed Mohsin back into the attack.
Slashed away. Not where he intended for that to go, and it's going to be a dot to start the over.
Great spell on the way here for Mohamed Mohsin. This is his last over. 1 for 25 from his 3.1.
Gets this nice and straight. Should be able to pick up 2 runs here. And excellent running. Think you've got enough rice? Oh, that's coming sharply. That's the Google.
He is such a difficult bowler to attack. Mohamed Mohsen has all the varieties. For a period of time during this most recently completed World Cup, he was among the leading bowlers in that tournament. Absolutely the googly again. And maybe for fun this time he just bowls a regulation leg break. Let's see.
Why not?
I couldn't tell what that one was because it was so straight, but worked into the leg side for a single. Mohamed Mohsen, always difficult to get away, always such a top competitor. And he and his team are 31 runs, make that 31 balls away from an emphatic victory in this semifinal. Low full toss to close things out in his over. In his spell, Mohamed Mohsen, excellent work. 4 overs, 1 for 29. Really, really well done under the circumstances. Exactly what you needed in the middle overs from your champion leg spinner. End of over number 15, last 5 coming up. 107 for 7. Last 5 overs, first of which will be bowled here from Harmeet Singh. Harmeet Singh has only bowled 2 overs so far. His 2 overs have cost not very many runs. 9 coming from his first over. Second over just going for 3. So he's been around where you need for him to be with regard to his economy rates. Let's get this one a little bit straighter here though. Worked around the leg side. Urgency essentially has been gone from this game because I think it feels just the inevitability of the Prime Raider Gladiators going down in a heap to the Clarion Eagles. I think that's what you're looking up at here. Slower through the air, great delivery. So Stephen Wigg, 7 from 6. Vedant Patak, 15 from 13. Working on a partnership, now worth 20. Second largest partnership in the innings so far, but they just have a whole lot of heavy lifting to do. And I don't know, even though both of these batters will be trying, don't know that you can overhaul a target that is now going to require you to score in excess of 20 runs and over the rest of the way. 87 runs needed in the next 26 balls. And that continues to be that slow march toward the inevitability of the Prime Raider Gladiators going down and the Clarion Eagles booking their spot in the finals. That's going to be stumping. Great delivery from Harmeet Singh. Quicker delivery. Has Vedant Patak reaching forward, stumbling out of his crease. And really quick hands by Pranav Chetapaliyam to do the rest to complete the stumping. Wicket number 8 goes down. Look at this. And I'll see a replay here in a second. Look how much more quickly he pushes this one through, Harmeet Singh. Take a look at this. Fires it in, and then a bit of turn and a bit of grip. Pranav Chetapaliyam as quick as a flash behind the stumps. So Harmeet Singh's second, make that third over, goes for 4 runs, and he takes a wicket with that last ball. So just 2 wickets away now for the end. In fact, the dreaded Nelson is what took that wicket, 111 for 8 at the end of 16. So Stephen Wigg will be on strike, as it will be the new batter in Arnav Patel, who is at the non-strikers end since that was the last ball of the previous over. Stephen Wigg 8 from 7. And Vinit Sinha will come back in. I believe that's Vinit Sinha. We'll confirm that shortly. But in fact, my apologies. It's going to be Ariful Haq. Ariful Haq, right arm, medium. And to the extent that everything that you do is going to have to be scrutinized very heavily, you're going to want to think that much of what has happened here with the bats for the primary Gladiators will be questioned. And the question for me is, do they have the firepower if their top order fails to bat deep? And it doesn't look, at least based on the evidence that you've seen today, that that's the case. But that's probably a question for another day, because in the meantime, at the moment, what you've seen is a really dominant performance with the ball for the Clarion Eagles. Slow delivery, dragged into the leg side. And it's all but academic at this stage. The primary Gladiators essentially booking their spot in the finals. Just waiting to get through these last several deliveries. Again, this over being bowled here by Ariful Haq. Lofted in the air. It will land short of the fielder long on. And they just get that single. Last two balls coming up here. Very anticlimactic end to this match. Maybe after the over, we'll check in on the semifinal number 2 between the Atlanta Fire and the Space City Cowboys. But as of right now, again, just one team appears to be in the position to win this game. Yorker length. Swipe and a miss. Just 3 runs from over number 17. You're down to the last 19 balls of the innings for what it's worth. Primary Gladiators are 40 runs behind where the Clarion Eagles were at this equivalent stage, and they've lost twice as many wickets. So that doesn't add up to anything resembling competitiveness. Slow delivery. A little bit too wide though, so he'll have to re-bowl that. This extra ball coming up. And I don't know if you don't just come up and just target the stumps and just try to get this game over with. Because as of where you are right now, there's not a lot that separates you from the victory. So that's what I was looking for. Lofted down the ground. Is it going to be catchable? No. So he's looking for the Yorker, but he misses the length, leaves it in the slot. And it's a good strike down the ground by Stephen Wigg to close out what had been to that point a good over. 10 runs eventually coming from it. End of over number 17. 121 for 8. Take a look at this right there in the slot. Absolutely in the slot. And it is teed off on by Stephen Wigg. That is the end of over number 18. Make that over number 17 for what it's worth. 77 needed in the last 3. Harmeet Singh into the attack and immediately gets wicket number 9. As it is Patel who goes running down the track, completely missing the regulation off break, turning away from the right-hander. And behind the stumps, the second stumping affected by Pranav Chattopadhyay. Take a look at this again. Tossed up and a bit of turn by Harmeet Singh, and about one of the easiest dismissals that you'll ever see. Very quick behind the stumps. The earlier stumping in the last over was a good one. Very quick hands, but that was a quicker delivery. This one much easier by Pranav Chattopadhyay. And by the way, with that wicket and 9 wickets down, Harmeet Singh has a chance to simultaneously put his team into the finals and get a hat trick with this next ball. Last man in, it's going to be Imran Khan. Imran Khan, number one goal for him will be, I would imagine, to avert this hat trick. And then I think trying to win this game is a thing of the past. But I think his number one objective after averting the hat trick would be to still be there at the end. Here's the hat trick ball. Oh, good delivery. Harmeet Singh, both his hands are on top of his head because he probably thinks that that one should have snuck through. Doesn't get the hat trick, but I don't think that will matter much to him. They'll steal a single here, or will they? Oh, a direct hit there could have been interesting. But, oh yeah, for me, this is just all just but final, isn't it? Really good work here by the Clarion Eagles. A very clinical performance is underway. It's going to be Arnav Patel. Tossed up, wave and miss.
What? Sweet.
When
Thank you.
all is going wrong with the world, Mr. Mangesh Chowdhury walks in with some red velvet cake and all is now right with the world. Played down the ground. So we're just essentially administering the last rites here. As the only question is, what is the final margin of victory going to be? Harmeet Singh with the last ball of his spell. And he's calling for a slip fielder. He's calling for, that's Abhimanyu Lamba at first slip. Last ball coming up.
I'll let you know how it is. Okay.
Solidly in defense. That is the end of the day for Harmeet Singh. 2 runs coming from that final over of his. And at the end of over number 18, the score is 1, 2, 3 for 9. Arpul Haq back into the attack. Pulling straight, clipped away into the deep as we get to over number 19. Once again, administering the last rites in this match. The final margin of victory will probably not be indicative of how dominant the Clarion Eagles have been in this game. And in fact, it may be a good time to check in on semifinal number 2. After this ball, we'll do that. Worked away into the leg side. I have a couple more runs, not just one more run. So in the semifinal number 2, Atlanta Fire are 133 for 8. 133 for 8, chasing 194. And so let's just say that it will be very difficult here for the Atlanta Fire to do much. And back to this game. Cutaway behind point. Catch taken by Saif Badar. He's done, in fact, that by Mukhtar Ahmed. Good catch, and that signifies the end of the game. 125 all out. Clarion Eagles with an absolutely dominant performance, and they win this game by the margin of 72 runs.
Dominating performance this by the Clarion Eagles. Came out first innings. Did very well to put on the number of runs that they did. And in the second innings, they've come and they've dominated with the ball as well. Picked up wickets, picked them up regularly, and never really allowed for PRG to get any sort of dominance in this game. Winning the contest by 72 runs, and most importantly, sealing a spot in the finals. This was the last wicket to fall. Outstanding catch, diving forward, well judged. to round things off. Both of these teams trying to get into the finals. It's going to be the Clarion Eagles as we take a quick look at this PRG batting lineup. It was a struggle with the bat today. Smith Patel getting to 34 of 24, and then no one really going on to get a big score. Getting into the mid 10, 15 range of runs, and unfortunately that was never going to be enough when you needed to be going at well over 10 runs and over. The bowling, plenty of them picked, but the change-up has worked for the Clarion Eagles. They've picked up wickets, a wicket each to Shubham Ranjane, Jesse Singh, Mohammad Mohsin, Karshid Gomel, and Arful Haq, and 2 wickets to Harmeet Singh along with Vinit Sinha, who's picked up 3. Pick of the bowlers as well with an economy rate of 2.5. Take a quick look at how this innings panned out for the Clarion Eagles. They knew that they had a lot of runs on the board from that first innings and that it was going to be a steep run chase for PRG. And the first wicket, an early one to fall, Sikaram, that was the tone that was set early on. Jesse Singh picking up the second wicket, the wicket of Sujit Gowda. Smith Patel, the lone man, to strike a few boundaries, try and hold that one end down. He continued some of that form from throughout the tournament. And he too, unfortunately, started to feel the pressure as the wickets started to tumble on the other end. Milind Kumar was in form and tried to give Smith Patel a lending hand. Unfortunately for him, though, he too fell shortly after. A good catch in the deep. Mohammad Mohsin picking up the wicket of Milind Kumar, and that was a big moment. Back-to-back wickets. Kuram Khan, the next one to go. Smith Patel trying his hand, trying his luck, but eventually holds out to good delivery by Vinit Sinha. Adil Bhatti coming into the attack, and shortly after he was sent back again by Vinit Sinha, who was a pick of the bowlers in this game. Mohammad Mohsin, very effective with the ball, got hit for a few lusty blows around the ground, but tried to keep the pressure on as much as he can. Sudesh Patari, the next one to go, thanks to good delivery from Gomel. And Harmeet Singh eventually picking up the last wicket of Vedant Pathak. Good work behind the stumps to round things off. And despite the few boundaries and the few hits that we saw, they never really got going. And PRG, after very good effort in this tournament, getting into the semi-finals, they just couldn't quite cross over to get into the finals. It's going to be the Clarion Eagles claiming that spot as they wait to find out who's going to be meeting them in the finals. Confirmation, 197 for 7 in that first innings. And in reply, PNG bowled out for just 125. The Eagles winning this contest by 72 runs. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we'll be ready for the finals.